At 3:17 a.m., a woman from a quiet suburb in Georgia made a frantic call to 911. Her voice shook with fear. She claimed someone had broken into her home, said everything inside had been disturbed, moved, rearranged. But when officers arrived, they found no broken locks, no shattered windows, no signs of an intruder, nothing missing. Instead, what they uncovered was something far more chilling. Her own fingerprints on everything, on items she swore she hadn't touched, in places she insisted she'd never been. This wasn't just a break-in. It was the beginning of a psychological maze, one that blurred truth and delusion and shattered every sense of what was real. What began as a simple 911 report would become one of the most haunting mysteries ever to rattle the quiet streets of Marshwood Heights. Claire Patterson lived on Hawthorne Lane, one of those cozy little cul-de-sacs just outside Atlanta. A quiet street where kids rode scooters and golden retrievers napped on porches. Claire was 32, a freelance graphic designer, bookish, empathetic, a little anxious, according to her friends, but full of warmth. She lived alone, except for Leo, her rescue mutt. Her life was, by all accounts, normal, until it wasn't. Claire had spent the evening at a friend's house, walked home before midnight, watched a show, took a bath, dozed off on the couch. Then, around 3 a.m., Leo started barking. She said she heard dishes clinking, movement, whispered steps, and when she got up to look around, her house felt wrong. Rearranged, personal items in strange places, a framed photo face down in the sink, a vase leaning against the couch, pillows scattered across the hallway. She dialed 911, and that's when the story began unraveling. My house. Someone's been inside. Everything's moved. I don't recognize it. When officers arrived minutes later, they found the front door still locked from the inside. Windows unbroken. No signs of a break-in. But the living room? It looked like someone had walked through the home and deliberately touched nearly everything. Books repositioned. Drawers cracked open. Trinkets turned. But what truly baffled them were the fingerprints. Forensics dusted dozens of surfaces. What they found chilled even seasoned investigators. Every surface Claire had claimed not to touch had her fingerprints. On the inside of a locked kitchen cabinet, on a knife blade placed under the couch, even on the back of her television set. The only fingerprints in the entire house were hers, no one else's. So if someone broke in, how did they leave no trace? And if no one broke in, what really happened? Claire insisted she wasn't sleepwalking. She wasn't drunk. She wasn't on medication. But detectives had to explore every angle. They interviewed neighbors. Rachel, her best friend, said Claire had seemed off lately, like she was afraid of something she couldn't explain. One neighbor said they saw lights flickering at 3 a.m. Another said Leo's barking was unusually frantic. Still, no one saw an intruder. Police looked into her ex-boyfriend, a cleaning lady, even a stranger who had once delivered a package and stared too long. But nothing stuck. No suspects. No motive. Just one chilling fact. Claire's prints were everywhere. That's when the questions turned inward. Was Claire doing this to herself? She'd started therapy recently for anxiety. Her therapist noted vivid dreams, a fear of being watched, and occasional memory lapses. Could have been stress, a breakdown. Then came the sketches. One, found in her trash, showed a figure standing at her window. Below it, scrawled in charcoal. They know. She said it was just art, but the charcoal matched residue on several disturbed objects in the house. And then, a second clue emerged. Police discovered a partial footprint by the back door. Women's size 7.5. Claire's exact shoe size. And lab tests on Leo, her dog, showed traces of THC in his fur. Claire denied using marijuana, but eventually admitted she'd given Leo a CBD dropper for anxiety, the kind that contains trace THC. Innocent or intentional distraction. Either way, her credibility was starting to crumble. The memory card from her doorbell camera? Gone. The system had been disarmed hours before the call. The device was intact, but had been disabled manually. Someone had reached in and turned it off, and the only fingerprints found on it, you guessed it, Claire's. Detective Karen Lou set up a recreation. Claire was asked to walk investigators through the night. Every room, every movement. As she did, she subconsciously touched a book, shifted a vase, leaned over the window lock, exactly where a print had been found days earlier. She didn't even realize she was doing it. Detectives ran the prints. They matched. Claire had unknowingly recreated the entire crime scene by herself. Claire collapsed in tears. She didn't deny it, but she couldn't explain it either. Her therapist reviewed the evidence. Claire was later diagnosed with dissociative fugue, a rare psychological condition brought on by trauma or extreme stress. In short, she'd blacked out. Her body moved, touched, rearranged, but her mind had no memory of it. The charges were dropped. Claire entered intensive treatment and began to rebuild her life. Her case sparked statewide debate on mental illness and legal responsibility. And Marshwood Heights? Well, it never really went back to normal. Because the scariest part of this story isn't that someone broke into her house. It's that no one did. And yet, the threat was real. It came from inside, from her own mind. So, what do you think really happened that night? Was Claire suffering a mental break? Or was someone gaslighting her and covering their tracks? Could both be true? Drop your comments below. We'll be watching. Until next time, stay curious, stay safe. And if you want more stories like this, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell. There's a new one coming soon, and trust me, you won't want to miss it.